But I think we have depicted the Pompeo worldview, which is that China, Russia, and Iran are working to undermine the United States in the Middle East. Pompeo is very concerned about the lifting, according to the terms of the JCPOA, the lifting of the arms embargo on China in September. The United States is introducing Security Council resolution next week to prolong the arms embargo, because it can see very quickly this constellation developing against us. To me, this is the only position that makes sense. No matter whether we have a Republican or a Democrat in power after the election in November, no president is going to agree to another sort of large-scale military engagement in the Middle East, like a George W. Bush-style invasion of Iraq. The American public has demanded a lighter footprint by the United States in the Middle East. So the challenge is, how do we contain China and maintain a light footprint at the same time? I do believe it's possible. I believe that the combination of limited but very strategic use of American military power, like in the killing of Qasem Soleimani, coupled with covert action like blowing up the Natanz nuclear facility. I don't know if this was the Americans or the Israelis or some combination, but that kind of activity, combined with action by allies, such as what the Israelis are doing in Syria, what the Turks are doing against the Iranians and the Russians in Syria, what the Turks are doing against the Russians in Libya. All of that combined together with the massive economic sanctions that we have put on Iran, and from which Iran is suffering greatly, I think are sufficient, are all that is needed if used strategically and in a concerted fashion, are all that is needed to really defeat the Iranian-Russian coalition. And I don't believe the Chinese will try to step in and work directly against us for all of the reasons that I said. There is this contradiction in their policy. They benefit from our order while trying to undermine it simultaneously. What we need to do is make sure that they don't have the weapons to undermine it, and they have to fall back on their position of just accepting us for the time being.